Welcome back to my channel, The World of Aurorealis. Now, today's video is going to be a little different. We're going to take a break from the world of Aurorealis, and we're going to talk about my old Wattpad stories. Oh my gosh! Guys, so I randomly saw a video on YouTube of someone like reading their old Wattpad stories. I was like, oh my gosh, Wattpad, I used to have that. And it took a couple days to get my old password because apparently I used a different email that I forgot about. And then it was like back and forth, the person saying, oh, that's the wrong email. Anyways, and if you guys came here for some spice, sorry to disappoint you, but I was a very innocent teenager, okay? So there's no spice in any of my stories, okay? That wasn't even on my mind. I was that super innocent kid who's just like when someone said a dirty joke, I'd be like, huh? What is that? Like, I was that kid, okay? I was super innocent, super pure. Like, I was that kid that all your friends was just like, oh, they're there. And they would just like laugh, and I'm just like, don't treat me like a child, guys. We're the same age. So there's no spice, but I thought it would be fun to like review all of my past stories, and so you guys can see like my thought process of how I ended up with Aurorealis, and like see how I've grown since then. All right, let's check it. Okay, so this is my page. Yes, I do have Lelouch and C2 up here because I was obsessed with Code Geass at the time. Like, obsessed! Like, back in the day, I would just Google photos, like fan art of Lelouch and C2, and I'd just be like, anyways. So, I have a couple of things on here. I tried to make updates last year because I was going to write the story Aurorealis. And I thought, oh, let me update my page, blah, blah, blah. I don't even remember doing this, to be quite honest. Like, apparently, I logged in last year around November. I have no recollection of doing this whatsoever. So, but apparently, I was going to start writing. I didn't write a single thing. Those 2 views are me. Or is that chapters? I don't even know how this works anymore. Oh, 1 view. That was probably just me. Or maybe you get 1 view automatically. But yeah, so I remember this story. I actually wrote this when I was around sophomore, junior year in high school. And because I had a niece at the time, she was really little. And I wrote a story about a babysitter. I wrote this story. I don't remember if it was for her specifically, but I wanted to write a children's story. This one, I tried to submit something in the Waddy Awards. I don't even know if I ever published it. Look at it. It says draft only. This was a short story, a poem. I might read this to you guys. Probably not because I don't think I was ever good at poetry. A collection of short stories, poem, new novel ideas. I think this is the one we're gonna review today. Oh, I remember this story. Oh my god. Wow, I got 4,500 views on this one. Oh, this one must have been good. Oh, I had 26 chapters? No. There's no way. I don't remember writing 26 chapters. I had 26 chapters? What? Wait, can I look at the chapter titles? Oh my god, I had 26 chapter? Oh, no. I had 13 chapters, and the rest of them are called 14, and the rest are called coming soon. Oh, okay. Last chapter to book 1. Ooh, this was gonna be a series? Oh my god, what is this? Are you serious, Shantae? I guess this is pronunciation of my characters. Amethyst. Amethyst. I don't know why I wrote it like that. Like alchemist. Amethyst. So I guess I want to pronounce it with an E instead of an A. Ligel, like Nigel. Tavon. Tavon, like Kavon. Teenage me was so funny. Senya, like Kenya. Why am I rhyming? Sonya, like Shonya. Rafiki, like Lapiki. Why did I write that? Sue, SUW. Maybe this is like an organization or something. Okay, we gotta come back. Okay, we gotta come back to this story another day. That's funny. I want to review this one. This is New Novel Ideas, Part 1, 2, and 3. I have no idea why I did that, but we're about to find out. So these are novel ideas that I had. Let me see if there's a date on here. Oh, this is long. Is there a date? No, there's no date. Hmm. I have no idea when I wrote this, but this was definitely maybe like 10 years ago, probably. So let's see these new novel ideas I got 205 views for and 2 stars, whatever that means. Okay, new novel compilation. These are 6 future novels I'm planning to write after Kara Mystic, that little thing called Daydream. I remember this story. This was like the big story I was going to write at the time. This was basically my Aurorealis, but in my teen years. Like this was my Aurorealis. I never finished that novel. So tell me what you think. Are any of them good concepts or ideas? Which would you like me to do next? Don't forget to check out Kara Mystic, a little thing called Daydream. I'm working on this for a while now. Teenagers and their abbreviations. Ugh. Anyway, so yeah, Tia and Mio's Epic Ventures. I actually remember this story. Each book was it's gonna be like a short little book, a little bit longer than Bearstein Bears. So basically, this book was gonna be like a procedural slash serialized. So it has an overarching story, but each book is basically like a completely new standalone story that kind of remembers events that happened in past. But anyway, let's read this. So Tia and Mio are actually I used to name the little boy Rio, and I remember I changed it to Mio, and my niece was so mad at me. She's like, no, his name is Rio. Why'd you change the name to Mio? His name is Rio. It's so funny. They're a cute little boy. Anyway, Tia and Mio are the absolute most well behaved twin 5-year olds a parent could ever ask for. They make their beds, they eat their vegetables, they say please and thank yous, and most of all, they're simply adorable. At least that's what their parents would say. But to everyone else in town, who knows? Who for everyone else, but for everyone else in town who knows them, think they're devil children. Tia and Mio wreak havoc among everyone they come across. They pull pranks and trick people into doing what they want. These children aren't necessarily evil, they're just a bit mischievous. I was planning on making this into a children's book, early life to like not what the what I was planning on making this into a children's book, early life to like not, I don't have no idea what I wrote there. This written in rhyme. Well, I probably meant this is written in rhyme, and the first chapter is up, so check it out. Okay, so I do remember this story. I actually had 2 versions of this story. I had a rhyming version and then a non-rhyming version. I read both to my niece, and she was probably like maybe 6 or 7 at the time, and she loved the rhyming version more. I prefer to do the non-rhyming version, but she liked the rhyming version, so that's the one that I was going to continue doing. But I only ever wrote 1 full chapter. Yeah. So yeah, that was that story, and I really regret not writing that story because reading it back now and like remembering thinking what I remember, I'm like, this is actually kind of exciting. I would watch this as like a show. I would have read this book if I was a child. And again, I read this to my niece, and she was obsessed with this book this one story that I wrote. She every time she came over, she was like, "Oh, read Tia Mio, read Tia Mio." Well, she kept calling him Rio, but after a while, she kind of forgot. Like after a couple months, she was like, "Oh, that's Mio." I just kept like telling her, no, his name is Mio now. So it was so funny. And yeah. Let me go and like whatever story I like review to you guys, let me know if you guys like the story or if you would like read something like that. If it's a kid story like this, would you give it to kids? Like read it to your kid? Yeah, like this actually seems kind of interesting. I think one day I'm gonna like rewrite or write that story. I do remember the story. It was like a crazy. So basically, the premise of this story is that you know, these kids are like super neat and super proper and prim to their parents, and their parents think they're angels, but everyone else in this like small town thinks that they're devil children. And basically the story, again, I was like 16 or 17 when I made the story up. The joke, the running joke in this series was that, if I actually hadn't finished it, was that they go through babysitters like almost every day, like every week they have a new babysitter because they keep quitting, and the parents are just like, I don't know what's going on. Why are you quitting? Because I think the dad was a lawyer, like a top-notch lawyer, and the mom was like the leading like the top doctor in her hospital. Like she was like curing things, and she was like, you know, this like cartoonishly just solving problems, and the dad was like this cartoonishly lawyer who just like wins all cases, he never loses. It was like this, again, I was like a teenager, okay guys, so this was like before 2010s, but it was like very exaggerated personalities, although that is still a thing now, but it was based more of a reality, so it wasn't just like cartoon violence type of stuff. And basically, they have to hire a new babysitter, but then pretty much there's a day where pretty much everyone in town babysat them at some point, so there's like no more babysitters. And then there's this college kid, like I think her family moved in this town, so they weren't aware, and she was like a college kid. Her parents didn't have a lot of money, like they weren't poor, I don't think I made them poor, but they just didn't have a lot of money, so she wanted to work over the summer to make money so she can help her parents out when she goes to college. And she saw this ad for this babysitting job, and she goes in, she applies, like, but she like stops at like a bakery, or I don't remember, again I have to like reread what I wrote, but she like stops in, and basically uh she like it's like so excited about her job and telling people in town, and everyone's like, no, don't do it. And then she's like, everyone in this town is like a wackadoo. So it's basically kind of like you know that show Wayside, where everyone in the show is like kind of cuckoo bananas, but then that one kid is just like, I don't understand what's going on, nothing in this town makes any sense, none of this is not logical. It's basically kind of the same thing. Everyone's just like, don't do it, don't do it. And she's just like, they're children. And again, this is summertime, so they're not in school anyway. And then she goes in, she does the interview. The parents are like getting calls because they're not always like, because they're always like busy with work. And then she's like, you know, doing her, ooh, I do this, I'm qualified for this, I CPR train, blah, blah, blah. And the parents are just like, you're hired, because they have to go. The dad has to go do his lawyer stuff. The mom has to go do her doctor stuff. And then the kids are there just like, Mom, Dad, hang out with us. And then just like, sorry, babies, we love you. Kiss, kiss. And they go off. And then she just left to babysit. And then at first, the kids are just like, hi, blah, 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 super sweet. And then the moment she turns her back to like settle in, the kids are gone, and she's like freaking out. And there's like this whole thing, this whole hijinks of her finding the kids. She's like freaking out, and then she finds them, and then like I think I had them like holding something dangerous, and she's like, how'd you get that? And it's like basically this whole story of these like kids terrorizing, and they're basically trying to make her quit. Now, like the deeper story behind all of the crazy hijinks was that basically the twins are terrorizing the town, like terrorizing all their babysitters to intentionally make them quit, so that their mom and dad would spend more time with them, because that's what they want, because they're kids, you know, they want to see their parents, and they only have each other, and they don't want the babysitters, they want their parents. So that's like the behind the story. The reason why this girl doesn't quit, and this is all chapter 1 by the way, and the reason why this girl didn't quit is because she needs money. She's doing this for money. She's desperate for some money, hunty. So all day the twins are like terrorizing her, trying to get her quit. She won't quit. She needs this. She needs some kind of experience, blah, blah, blah. And then basically, I actually don't remember what happened, but I do remember there's a scene, like a climax scene, where basically the twins do something that's like went too far. It's like the first babysitter who like would not give up, and then she like yells at them really badly, which no one has ever done to them before, and they start crying like bawling their eyes out because they've never experienced someone brave enough to discipline them, because their parents also don't know about it, so they can't discipline something that they don't know. And then everyone in town is too afraid to tell their parents because the twins are scary. But anyway, they're crying, they're wailing, and she just feels so bad for them. She apologized for lashing out at them, and then the twins basically pretty much tell her, they basically confess that they want their parents to be with them. Like, they want their parents around. They sometimes feel like their parents don't love them. She tells them, no, they love you. They're just busy with work. I'm sure they're gonna make time. Blah blah blah. And then basically had this like moment, and then the twins decide that they like her and that they are going to stop terrorizing her. Kinda. Parents said that they're coming home soon, and then they was just like, oh my god, the house is like a mess, so they have to like rush because the twins now like the babysitter and they don't want her to get fired for all the mess that they made, so they're actually helping her clean up the house, fix everything that was broken, like that whole like trope there. And then by the time the parents come home, they're sitting on the couch pretending that they were like, oh, just watching TV, the kids were good, she told them the kids were good, blah blah blah. And the parents just like, they paid her for the day. And then basically she's about to leave. The kids are about to close the door and the parents are leaving. And then she's like, okay, bye twins. And then they're just like, bye. And then they like have a mischievous look on their face, like, and then they slam the door in her face. And then that's the end of chapter book 1. It's funny. I wish I would have just sucked it up and wrote this story. But this was like around the time I was 16, 17. So I was literally about to go to college. So, and then college, and then I went to hang out with friends. And then college is way harder than high school. Oh, I just realized something. I remember telling someone about this, about like past stories that I've written, and someone was like, oh, that sounds like Jessie. And I was just like, oh, it does sound like Jessie. Thing is, the main character was in high school. Jessie didn't come out when I was in high school. It came out when I was literally after college or towards the end of my college year. Jessie came out after I wrote the story. So I know this sounds like Jessie. Jessie copied me, okay? Disney's Jessie copied me. And for the record, I've had my stories written on floppy disks, and I have no idea where any of my floppy disks are, okay? I don't know where they are. I don't know if I lost them. I've been to 3 different houses. I had them at college. I've had them at home. I think a Disney exec found my floppy disk, saw my story of Tia Meal written on it, and made Jessie. I'm just saying. The similarities. I came up with it first. I'm not copying nobody, okay? Just saying. Okay, so here's the next one. I dreamt I can sing and dance. I think I remember what this one's about. Let's read the description. This is the story of 2 young women who aspire to become something great. They both want to be well-known celebrities who are adored by millions of fans who love them for their talent and charm. It seems these 2 young women are going to have to put their dreams on hold or just give it up because undecided name 1 lacks the ability to sing and undecided name 2 lacks the ability to dance. But they both seem to lack something the other needs in order to be the successful entertainers that they both know they were born to be. So these 2 16-year-old girls came up with a plan to use each other to make their dreams come true. Undecided name 2 will sing, and undecided name 1 will dance and be the face of their dreams. But how long can they keep up this charade? Will anyone find out their secret? And if so, how will the public take it once they've made it big? Directed towards teens. Oh, you know what? Now I remember what this is. I probably was trying to say this is like a children's book, early life, around 9 years old. That's what I was trying to say. I was 100% a teenager when I wrote this. 100% a teenager. And actually, before I like read the description, I actually thought this was a different story, because I do remember a story that I was writing, or maybe I changed the details, but it was about 2 girls. They were probably who were probably the same age, 16, and one could sing, but like she's like regular, like she's not special. Like her voice, she can sound good, but she's not special. And the other one is a teenage girl in a wheelchair who has like the voice of 1,000 angels. Like she could slay. She's in a wheelchair. How many famous singers do y'all know in a wheelchair? Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God, I just realized that I don't know why I wrote that one girl can dance and the other girl can sing, because the girl in the wheelchair obviously can't dance because she's in a wheelchair. I don't know why I wrote that. Oh my God, I just noticed.
So basically, they like met through like randomness, whatever. And basically, the story goes, we decided. So the girl who can sing, she's like super pretty. Oh yeah, she was like super pretty, and then the girl in the wheelchair, she was like just regular. Again, when I wrote this story, this was during that time where like the story was like the girl, when she wore glasses, she's like an ugly nerd, and when she takes it off, now she's gorgeous. So don't judge me. This was popular around the time. The story was that they were starting out to become sort of famous. The girl who can walk. I don't know why I said that. The other girl, undecided name one, she was the face and she was doing all the dancing, and then the other girl was singing backstage, and only like I guess the manager. I have to research how the music industry works, but only the manager and like one other person who does like their stage stuff knew about their secret, and basically no one else is allowed to be backstage or anything because they have to keep the secret that the other girl isn't singing. I do remember writing at least one chapter of this. I mentioned she was in a wheelchair, but I 100% remember this story, and I thought it was kind of cool. Oh, and another thing, so I didn't notice I did this a lot until I like reread all my old stories a few years back with my friend. But all of my main characters were always the same age as me in real life. And the reason how I know that is because when I used to write all my stories on paper, and then I used to write them on floppy disk. Once I figured out how to floppy disk work, yeah, you youngins probably don't know what that is. Basically, it's like a flash drive, but like it's flat and it's like a disc. I used to write the date on top of my page. Like when I started a story, I write the date. So, and then like when I was reading back with my friend, I'm just like, wait a minute, this character is 11, and this was the year blah blah blah. I was 11. This character is 13. I was 30. So I didn't even notice I did that, or maybe I did, I just don't remember. But all my characters were always the same age as me in real life. So tell me what you guys think about this story. Do you think it's like a story that like you guys would read today? Again, obviously this is dated, the concept, because oh, I'm so hideous. Now I'm stunning. If I wrote this today, I probably won't add that part. She'll just probably just be a girl in a wheelchair with no glasses, and she's like pretty too. Or like I'll probably change it to like the girl who can walk. I'll probably just make her the one wear glasses, but she like, doesn't wear them because she thinks she doesn't look as pretty or something. To give that little twist up. Yes, so tell me what you think about that story. Apparently, I named it "I Dreamt I Can Sing and Dance." I probably won't keep that title if I go back to that story. But yeah, let's continue to the next one. All right, so the next one is called The Storytellers, and I think I know what this story is. If I remember correctly, I wrote this story when I was 10 years old, and this is the first story I ever tried to write. The Storytellers are about six kids who every day after school go over to Ryan's treehouse and tell each other stories. Sometimes they're true, sometimes they're not. The ones that are true are sometimes exaggerated a little bit. Ryan is always telling stories of him being the best, the greatest, the smartest, and he's always the hero of his own stories. Sometimes his little sister Cassidy climbs up to the treehouse and ruins Ryan's stories by telling his friends the truth. His fiends, telling his friends what really happened. And sometimes she tells embarrassing stories about Ryan. Oh, that's actually kind of cute. Sonia is really loud and
and is obsessed with telling stories about everything being nice and beautiful, like ponies and unicorns and happy endings like a fairy tale. Kyle is the smart one, and his stories are mostly about mysteries and sometimes too complicated to follow. Oh, that's kind of cute, actually. Tamika and Kevin are twins. They're always fighting and arguing. Their stories are always between two groups of people, or between two kids, two adults, two animals that think one is better than the other, which they're really not according to them. Oh, I see what I was doing there. I see what I was doing there. Audrey is quiet sometimes, but when she tells a story, the ending always has a moral lesson. Her stories always make sense, and when she tells them, sometimes she blushes because she has a crush on Ryan. Oh, so cute. Oh my god. Where the hell did these names come from? Okay, this name Sonia. Actually, there was this girl in my class, probably when I was 10, named Sonia. I probably just liked her name. These other people, I'm pretty sure there was a girl that bullies me named Cassie, so why the hell did I put her name there? Oh, she's the mean little sister. Oh, that makes so much sense. That makes so much sense. Her name is Cassidy. I don't think I knew Orion as a kid. A Kyle. Kyle, there was this kid in 5th grade who he was like this chubby kid. I think he was like the funny kid. Not a class clown, but he was like the funny, jolly kid. Tamika, that name sounds familiar. I don't actually remember if there was someone named Tamika, but I think that name sounds familiar. Kevin, I don't remember no Kevins. Okay. Audrey, I definitely have never been friends or in the classroom with anyone named Audrey before, so I don't know where that name came from. But anyway, so whenever you're tired with the same old story and you want to hear something different, just listen to what the storytellers have to say, because each story is way different than the last, and each story is a whole lot funnier and crazier than the one before. This is also a children's book for all ages. Aww! Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness!
I thought these were all gonna be embarrassing story, like Wattpad story, but I told you I was so pure, so innocent. Okay, so I actually do remember this story. I wrote this when I was 10 years old. This is actually the first novel book series I've ever even thought about. So this story, oh my god, I was 10 years old when I wrote this. I can't believe I wrote this when I was 10. Okay, so I do remember some details of the story because like I said, years later, like after college, I like found all these stories. I was like reading them with my friends, and we're just like, oh my gosh, Shante, this is so hilarious. The Ryan character, um, I think the original story, because again, I had Wattpad when I was in high school. So I wrote this when I was 10. So this is like, I mean, 7 years later. So in this story, again, I have to find the paper. I'm gonna read it to you guys one day because I remember I wrote that like basically every day after school, all the kids meet up at Ryan's treehouse and they tell like stories. And they basically just like I said, like in the description, it's like sometimes they're like real stories, but they're exaggerated. And they're basically just about like their day at school. And they all go to different schools. I think I said when I was 10 that they're all just like kids who go to different schools and they all just meet up at Ryan's house. I don't remember how they met because if they went to different schools, how they know each other. They're children. Like I don't know. Maybe they went to the same soccer game or something. I don't know. I don't remember. But basically, they were all best friends. They all met after school, and every day they just tell these wackadoo stories about their day. Like today, the teacher did this. Like wild stories. And they're all just either made up, true, exaggerated. And I think I remember. Again, I don't know how I thought this at 10 years old, but like Ryan has this like I said in this description, he's the greatest, he's the best, he has this like hero complex or a leader, like this need to be in charge. Yeah, so he always wants to like be the best at everything. And then I said that what was the other kid? The smart one character. I actually don't remember what I said about his personality, but the twins, I do remember this. So like basically it's all episodic, but then little nuggets with each chapter, like each new book, like each like short story book, basically like there's like little breadcrumbs of like all of the kids like issues outside of like their friend group, like their personal like internal issues. Like with the twins, I said that they have this identity crisis because everyone always refers to them as the twins. They hardly ever say like their names individually. So that's why in their stories they're always like arguing and one's better than the other, because everyone's always saying that they're basically the same person. Basically all of the cast of the storytellers, they all have like little things that they have to like overcome, and each story them like revealing like these like deep emotions that these 10-year-olds like are feeling. And then there's like a big climax like towards like the last book where they like kind of hash it out, and then they all kind of just like, you know, hey guys, even though blah blah blah, we're still pals and we can get through this and blah blah blah. I'm just like, oh my god, guys, I was a great storyteller even when I was 10 years old. Like this, I think this is like, I'm really good at this, guys. Aurorealis is gonna hit. Like, I swear to goodness, Aurorealis is gonna hit. So what do you guys think about this one, the storytellers? Like, and as I'm like reading this, I'm realizing that this might have been Recess inspired. Like, you guys remember that show Recess? I might have been inspired by Recess, but this is not a copycat of Recess at all. Not a copycat.
Okay, so we're gonna stop it right here. There's actually like, I don't know, like 5, 6, 7 more stories, but this video is getting long, so we're just gonna break this up in multiple parts. But this was fun. This was exciting. I can't believe I completely forgot about these stories. But definitely, do all the things like share, subscribe, follow this page, because I'm writing my story called Aurorealis. If you guys haven't watched my other videos, definitely go ahead and check them out. I'm really excited about this fantasy story. I have never ever written fantasy before. So this is my first crack at it, and I'm actually really loving it. And these photos you see on the screen are actually inspiration for my main character. Her name is Imani. But yeah, definitely check out this video. It's called Meet My Main Characters. There are 6 of them. I basically explain who my characters are, and hopefully when I'm done writing my novel, you guys will be super hyped because you've been following along this whole time. And yeah, well, toodles! This video is sponsored by Shantae's Travel Things, the only website where you can get everything you need for your next upcoming trip. Whether it's backpacks, duffel bags, neck pillows, sleep masks, fanny packs, passport wallets, everything you need, get it at shantaestravelthings.com. The one-stop shop for everything outdoor and travel.